Hi guys, welcome back to Sky Family. It's very exciting today. We're at Clow Airport here in Bolingbrook, and if you can see right behind me, we have a real beauty. It is a Fairchild, and we're going to be talking to the owners. Yeah, go ahead and take this. Look at that. Gorgeous. We're going to be talking to the owners and the guys that restored this thing. When they first got it, it was a pile of wood and metal and who knows what, and they decided they had fallen in love with it, with the concept of owning this beautiful airplane. So they spent an awful lot of time and building it, restoring it, and loving it. As you can see, it's a real beauty. So stay with us. We'll be right back because they're in a meeting right now. So we'll be talking to them afterwards. See you in a minute.
A brand new start. Turning the page out, quit burning daylight. This is the first day of the rest of my life.
Hi guys, we're back and we're here with Jim and Bob, who are the owners of this airplane, and we want to welcome them. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Guys, tell us a little bit about the airplane.
The airplane was built in 1943 by the Fairchild Aircraft Company in Hagerstown, Maryland. It was test flown and then taken apart and put in a container and shipped to England through the Lend-Lease program and flew in the Royal Air Force Air Transport Auxiliary
Okay.
until the end of the war. It was used as a light transport. It transported air crews and mechanics around to different airports and to manufacturers of fighters and bombers.
Wow. That's it. But you have the entire history, don't you? You have
We
the
do.
entire genealogy, and we're going to see that in a few minutes. Jim, tell us a little bit about, because this is pretty interesting. You're probably wondering what I've got here. This is what this baby's made of. Now, there's a little bit of, we got metal up here, don't we?
Correct.
What type of metal is that?
It's aluminum.
It's aluminum.
Yeah.
This is not. This is made out of this thing here. That's what kept you from a bullet or the air or whatever. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, sure. What you're holding there is a polyester blend material. Back during the war and before the war, aircraft were basically made out of a steel frame, like a tube frame. And if you see ours, you see how it's got these little lines in it. These are actually wooden stringers that give it the shape of the airplane. And then during the war, they used a cotton blend to cover the aircraft. It was Irish linen and cotton. The problem with Irish linen and cotton is once you glue it down to the airplane, you would paint it with some silver. They called it a dope type of covering. If you remember the old Hindenburg movies and
Yeah.
the silver on it and how quick it burned.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was their problem back then. And the big problem was that Irish linen only lasted 5 to 6 years at the most.
Uh-huh.
So back in the 50s and 60s, a gentleman developed this polyester, and now
It's tough.
it's very tough.
Yeah.
Now fabric can last 20 to 30 years,
Wow.
depending on how well you take care of it. So basically what you do is you take this fabric and you put it on the aircraft and you glue it down in certain areas, and then you shrink it with an iron.
Okay.
And then it goes through different stages. There's a sealant that goes on it, which is pink. And then there's that silver stuff, which was the ultraviolet protection. It's not as flammable anymore as the
Yeah.
old Hindenburg stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's 3 coats of that, and you stand in between. Then you put a primer coat down, and then you put 3 coats of paint on top of that.
Oh my goodness.
So it's very labor intensive.
Yeah.
But
How long did it take to restore this? Because it took you quite a while.
it
didn't
is, yes. Bob and I actually found this aircraft in a farmer's barn down in Springfield, Illinois area. New Berlin is the city. We found it in 2001. We had it trucked up here because it was all in pieces, and it took us 17 and a half years
Wow.
to rebuild this aircraft to better than new condition.
Yeah.
We chose the camouflage scheme that you see on it to represent the way it flew with the Royal Air Force during World War II. So it took me about a year and a half to do research on it, going through the Air Force Museum, the Smithsonian, and the Royal Air Force Museum to get the proper documents, the color schemes, the color codes, and then we worked with the manufacturer of the paint to custom blend it to World War II color standards.
Wow. Do you want to take a look around? It's beautiful. And we're going to go up to the front. And as you can see, this is custom made, isn't it? This is an absolute gorgeous piece that we
The propeller is not custom made. It's actually made by the Sensionit Propeller Company. They've been making propellers since the 20s.
Okay.
This propeller, though, was built specifically for this aircraft.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an out-of-production propeller.
Yeah.
They had the blueprints and the drawings on it, so when we ordered it, they had to pull out all their old blueprints, and they actually built this one for us to match our airplane.
Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous. I see this, the 6 different pieces over here, and this over here is metal, and it's
Correct.
so soft and just gorgeous. It's really, really nice. You want to take a look around? Take a look. What's the span?
36, the wingspan on it is 36 feet 8 inches.
Wow. Very pretty. Do you want to take a look inside?
Basically, when we found this airplane, it was nothing but a pile of airplane bones, I guess you can call it, where it was just the metal frame, a bunch of wooden pieces, and, you know, a couple of old seats that were kind of rusty. The instrument panel was completely gutted and hollowed out, so through old pictures, blueprints, I was able to reproduce the instrument panel to World War II configuration. The interior was completely missing. Bob is our in-house upholsterer, and he'll be more than happy to tell you how much fun he had on that interior.
Bob, do us the honor.
When the Smithsonian Institute first photographed all of the blueprints from Fairchild, they shot them all on 35 millimeter microfilm. When they did that, they shot the blueprints as is, and some of them were unreadable. So one of the blueprints that was unreadable was obviously the headliner, which we needed most. I decided to pin a whole bunch of bed sheets together and take them down to my mom, and she sewed them all together for us, and that's the end product that we come up with.
Wow.
So,
and now she's the one that taught you to sew too, because you have a sewing machine in your
I
studio.
do. She really didn't teach me, I just watched her a lot. She was a seamstress all of her life and made all of her clothes and did alterations for a number of people, but it's just something that I was interested in and decided to try it and see what happened. The nice thing about working with fabric is if you make a mistake, you can pull it out and start all over again.
Yeah.
The seats, I just decided to venture out and try and see what happened, and they came out okay. So we're pleased with the comfort and how they sit, and they're relatively the same as the seats were back in the day, with the exception of the seat part, which actually we've made to come out because the pilot and co-pilot would actually sit on parachutes. So this is the way that we'll display the airplane when we have it judged for showing in Oshkosh.
So you're going to be up in Oshkosh.
We
So
are.
We're going to see you guys fly this thing.
Hopefully, yes.
Oh wow, that's going to be exciting. You have some paperwork that's very interesting. Can we
We
take
do.
a look at it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Watch your
let's go
head.
there. Look at this. Bob, what is this? Let me get over here.
This is a kind of a running account of the history behind the airplane. This is some of the research that we did with the Department of the Air Force, then with the Royal Air Force. This is the movement card that denotes the ship that it was shipped on. And this is actually the list of ships in the convoy with SS Samwater in red at the top. There's 125 ships in that convoy that originated in Halifax, Nova Scotia, sailed down to New York and met up with a convoy coming out of Baltimore. So they formed this very large convoy. It was convoy number HX296. You see it at the top there.
That's a lot of research.
Unfortunately, the SS Samwater is now sitting on the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea.
Oh,
They sunk it intentionally after the war.
How
So
come?
it's a fish reef.
oh. Okay. I'm going to put this here.
So we have cataloged over 1,800 pictures
Oh, wow.
of the progress of the airplane in different stages, and we're putting together these books because the judges will want to see the progress, and this gives them a visual account of it. That's the engine when it came back from the stripping agency that stripped it all off.
Oh,
If I can
okay.
flip this back, that's what it looked like before.
Oh, wow.
It was quite ugly.
And look at this. This is the,
That's the wing parts. And this is as we were putting it together.
a lot of work. And this is the wood panel that you were talking about there.
Yeah, that's the wing.
Yeah.
If you see all the little crisscrossers,
Mm-hmm.
These little
those
gussets.
are the ribs, and the gussets it's like a bridge.
Yeah.
So the wings are actually very, very strong and sturdy on this airplane because of that construction. Though it's wood,
Let me lift it up so we don't get any glare. Is that better? Look at this.
that's near the middle of rebuilding them. When we started with them, just imagine old, icky wood.
Here we go. There's material right there.
What's interesting on this here is a piece of mahogany. It's a 16th-inch laminated mahogany plywood. And to get it around to meet the shape of the wing, we had to learn how they bent wood back in the days. So we actually had to do the research and how you soak the wood, you steam it, you heat it, and then you have to bend it.
And this is
It's a form.
this, right?
That's that, right.
Excellent.
That's when you first put it on. You see the little bit of pink here?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the glue in the corners to hold it down. And then once we get it on, that's when we start doing the ironing.
Excellent.
Imagine an airplane noise in an airplane.
And imagine that. We're here at the airport.
Here's, this is kind of the process that we went through with painting.
The white is the primer, 3 coats of primer, hand sanded in
Yeah.
between. And then we started the color schema on the top of that. So like you said before, it's a very labor-intensive restoration, but we wanted to do it right. You know, Bob and I, we consider ourselves caretakers of the history of this aircraft to preserve it for future generations to see.
Indeed.
So, and it's a unique aircraft. There's only 701 of these airplanes built for the Army Air Force during World War II, and out of that 701, we know of 31 of them that exist. Here in the United States, there's less than 5 that we know of, and this is the only one that's flying.
Wow.
So out of 701 airplanes 75 years ago, less than 30 exist in museums or private collections or storage, and then this is the only one that flies right now in the United States as it did during World War II.
And you guys are the two lucky guys that own this. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
This is one of my husband's favorite planes.
Excellent. Would you
We
like
like him.
Would you like us to tour the shop and show you some of the other toys we have?
Yes, guys, come on. Are you ready? Come on, let's go.
You want to stay out here, or you want to look at these over here?